Hablamos con Ian Brenner, el referente político de Wall Street, el tipo al que acude Wall Street cuando quiere entender el resto del mundo. Analista internacional, editor de la revista Time. Le hablé con la excusa de que en la revista Time justamente puso a la Argentina entre los países que mejor respondió a la pandemia. Pero le pregunté, ¿somos Venezuela? Escucha.
Dr. Brenner, you always talk to people in high funds and companies. You're asked for opinion on Argentina by the big creator funds sometimes. Do you think Fernandez government is approaching kind of Venezuelan rule or government?
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, as you know, that there's been talk about potential nationalization of this big agricultural company that, you know, is facing bankruptcy. There's been a lot of debate about how you handle that in the parliament. There's been a lot of pushback. That's very different from talking about Venezuela. Venezuela is not in any way a democracy. Venezuela is a country that has been taken over by a dictator with the support of the military against the Venezuelan people. Argentina is a real country, and you know, you're negotiating with the IMF right now, you're negotiating with the creditors, and hopefully we'll end up in a better place.
Ya viene Mauro Fulco, ya viene con la nueva primera línea, la otra primera línea, la de los que cuidan, las que cuidan sobre todo en los barrios populares. Ahí también ya hay 5 muertas, 5 muertas. Antes, ¿por qué? Le pregunté a Bremer, ¿por qué nos puso en la lista de los 11 países que mejor respondieron al coronavirus? Vale preguntárselo ahora que estamos transitando el pico, ahora que empiezan a atiborrarse las salas de terapia intensiva. Esto me dijo. Ahora vamos con la otra primera línea. Primero, como les decía, el fragmento de Ian Bremmer, el editor de la revista Time y politólogo fetiche de Wall Street, sobre por qué nos puso en la lista de los 11 países que mejor respondieron a la pandemia. Esto fue en la revista Time de la semana pasada y fue sorprendente para él mismo. Escucha.
First of all, why did you pointed Argentina as one of the countries that managed the best the COVID-19?
Well, I mean, to be clear, if I was just doing a top 5 or top 10 list of all countries around the world, Argentina probably wouldn't have made it. But I didn't do it that way. What I said is, let's look at different categories. Let's look at frontline states that are right next to China that were experiencing a lot of early caseload. Let's look at G7 economies, compare the biggest economies in the world. Let's look at tiny states, right, which obviously much easier to respond if you're really small. And then let's look at some countries that are really challenged, that have a much harder time, whose economics are really difficult. And there, Greece and Argentina, that's a fair comparison. I mean, Argentina doesn't have the resources to respond the way South Korea or Germany does. But, you know, frankly, among economies that are in a lot of trouble right now, that, you know, frankly, before coronavirus, when you talked about Argentina, all you talked about was default and economic implosion and superinflation and everything, and the IMF. Actually, when you look at Argentina and coronavirus, the response has been surprisingly strong on a number of fronts, and I think that's deserving of calling out. So, you know, for me, you know, I was looking at who gets the gold and the silver medals. Among the poorer countries out there, the countries that are more economically challenged, and there I think Argentina deserves to be called out.
Es lo que hizo, lo destacó y destacó especialmente, lo van a escuchar en un ratito, que haya comunión de ideas entre oficialismo y oposición, al menos respecto de la cuarentena. Es algo que empieza a resquebrajarse, atención. Pero de la otra primera línea